Today we are in Bath for the second event of the season. There are some new aerodynamic looking riders. James Coxon on his Ice VTX will be in contention for the unfair classification. Russell Bridge has started to build a new bike that will have a full fairing to compete against Slash. That's really the bike of the day. There are not many streamliners and velomobiles, maybe because the track is not really favorable to them, as it has two sharp corners. The first race of the day is 30 minutes plus 1 lap. There is a big contingent of pedal cars, along with hancycles, tricycles and upright bikes. Although the track is reasonably flat, it has a slight uphill stretch. After the first corner, Ben Whitney on his carbon hancycle is leading the race, followed by Mark Allen and Chase Harding on their hancycles. There is already a gap with a group of pedal cars. A group of 3 riders has taken a sizable lead. Mark Allen on his carbon hancycles is leading that group, followed by Ben Whitney and Lewis Rawlinson. This part of the track is a slight uphill, which does not help the pedal cars, as they are probably rather heavy. Jonathan Woolwich is not riding his usual low racer but a time trial bike. That's probably not very comfortable. There is already a substantial gap between the leaders and the last group. Sheriff Harding on his hancycle was in the leading group but is now dropped. Stuart Glenn here is riding a Moulton TSR folding bike. The leading group is still going strong, led by Lewis Rawlinson on his road bike. Robert Glenn on his road bike is trying to catch up with the lead. He's followed by a group of pedal cars. The 2 carbon hancycles are on the attack. Lewis Rawlinson on his road bike seems to have been dropped, as there is a sizable gap. The group of pedal cars seems to have caught up with Robert Glenn on his road bike. Riding in a group probably gives them a big aerodynamic advantage. On this track, I am not sure if pedal cars are faster than 2 wheels unfair bikes. Jonathan Woolwich's time trial bike here is probably more efficient at the cost of comfort. There is always a big debate as to whether 2 wheels unfair recumbent bikes are faster than upright time trial bikes. It is probably true for the top low racer and high racers. Here is the sharpest hairpin of the track, going slightly downhill. The leading group has no issue whatsoever with that hairpin. We are lucky it is not raining, contrary to the weather forecast. The hairpin is followed by a slight uphill. It makes it difficult to maintain a high average speed. The group of pedal cars is still trying to catch up with the leaders, but they are failing, as Ben Whitney and Mark Allen on their hancycles are going seriously fast. The turn here is reasonably scary, as it comes after a slight downhill. One of the riders fell off there during the warm-up laps, although it was not clear whether it was an issue with the bike, as he fell off twice. It was rather unfortunate. Nobody is having issues there during the race. We are now approaching the end of the race. There is a reasonably sharp turn after the finish line, where you have to use the brakes or at least slow down. The leading group has no problem with it. The winner will probably be in that group of riders, as they are way ahead. This is the last lap. The finish line is good for a sprint finish as it is right after the slight uphill, but before the sharp turn, so it is not too dangerous. Lewis Wellington on his road bike has won the race. He is followed by Ben Whitney on his carbon hancycle. Now is the time for the fast race. James Coxon and Johan Farver on the right are among the favorites. James Coxon on his Ice VTX is overtaking me. Unfortunately, the footage from the front camera was corrupted, so we don't get to see him. Tim McDonald, his Milan SL velomobile, is following me. John Lucien is trying to follow me, but he is losing ground. I am overtaking Liam Goodman in his not-so streamliner. He is probably going to overtake me back as he is the huge favorite for the win. I am overtaking Kim Wall on a Optima Byron low racer and Dan Bergonzi on his Raptor bike. We are reaching the fastest turn of the track. Dan Bergonzi on his low racer is still right behind me. I am not trying to go faster as there is a sharp corner coming up. It is right after the slight downhill. I am not cornering that well as Dan Bergonzi is back on my tail. There is a slight uphill, so Dan Bergonzi is probably not going to stay with me. Lion Goodman in the not-so streamliner is catching up with me. I am overtaking Matthew Loriz on his Ice VTX. He was the 2019 Trike World Champion. He was particularly known for his really fast sprint. Finally, I am overtaking back James Coxon on his Ice VTX. He is a time trial specialist, 1 hour record holder and British champion. I am trying to get away from him, but I am not strong enough. It looks like the winter training has paid off for him. He is currently preparing for yet another record, something like the 100-kilometer record. He is getting ahead of me. Now Joren on his M5 low racer is coming back. He is currently ahead in the unfaired and partially faired classifications. I have missed the first event, so I can't be sure how strong he is now. I am overtaking back Jem Coxon on his Ice VTX, so Johan won't close the gap too easily. I have not managed to gain much time at all. Johan Farwer on his M5 low racer is launching an acceleration. He is overtaking easily James Coxon on his Ice VTX, and he is storming past me. We are lapping Nigel Lee on his Challenge Jester low racer. We are lapping Andrew Sidwell on his Rat racer as well. I am finally managing to create a gap with James Coxon on his Ice VTX. I am lapping Judy Swallow on her Ice track in the process. Here I am lapping Dave Minter on his tricycle. James Coxon on his Ice VTX is coming back again. I'm starting to run out of options to beat him. That's it, he's overtaking me. I'm lapping Tim McDonald, he's Milan SL Velomobile. Then I'm lapping Kim Woloner Optima Berun Low Racer, and I'm getting ahead of James Coxon's on his Ice VTX. We are lapping Sean on his iRacer. He fell off twice while cornering during the warm-up laps, so he is quite diminished. Now we are lapping Matthew Lowry's on his Ice VTX. James Coxon's confirmed he is the fastest trike rider, at least in this championship. He's getting ahead of me. We are lapping a group made of Dan Bergonzi on his Raptor bike, John Lucien on his Pelso Brevet, and Russell Bridge in his homemade streamliner that does not have a fairing yet. Liam Goodman, in his not-so-streamliner, is going to lap us. He is in a league of his own today. I am launching an attack and I'm getting ahead of James Coxon on his Ice VTX. It is hard to get away from him. There is a sharp corner ahead of us where I could lose all the seconds I have just gained. He has not managed to close the gap. It is not yet the last lap, so he can still come back. Joran on his M5 Low Racer is too far ahead and will get the second place behind Liam Goodman in his not-so-streamliner. Now this is the final lap, and there is no sharp corner until the finish line. I am getting the third place. The second slow race has already started. Like in the first race, Ben Whitney and Mark Allen on their carbon hancycles are leading, ahead of Lewis Rawlinson on his road bike. They are followed by a lone road bike rider. A group of pedal cars is not far behind. The race is starting in the same way as previously. What we can't see in the pictures is that it is getting colder and colder, but there is still no rain. It was supposed to be raining, but we have been lucky so far. The leading group is still going strong, still led by Ben Whitney and Mark Allen on hancycles. The pedal car group is getting bigger. Steph Mills in her pedal car did not manage to stay with the pedal car group, so it will be hard to catch up. Kevin Standish on his high-sprint trike is using the front fairing. Not sure it helps on this trike, as the added aero benefit is outweighed by the extra weight. Mark Allen on his carbon hancycle is still leading the race. It looks like Lewis Rawlinson on his road bike has trouble following. The pedal cars are more like a small train. We are just missing the rail couplings between each car. Ben Whitney and Mark Allen seem to have definitely dropped Lewis Rawlinson on his road bike. Julie Hansen on her challenge Hurricane is further back. Lewis Rawlinson on his road bike has caught up with the leaders. Is he going to win that race? Here we are reaching the fastest turn. It does feel scary at high speed, and the angle of the turn does not feel natural, but it causes no trouble to the riders, even the fastest ones. The pedal car train is still going strong. But Ben Whitney and Mark Allen on their hancycles are even faster, as they are going to lap the pedal car train, and they have dropped Lewis Wallinson on his road bike one more time. Cliff Bolton in his pedal car missed the pedal car train. Steve Townsend on his Challenge Mistral is a long way behind. He's using under-seat steering, which is reputed to be more comfortable but less aerodynamic. Ben Whitney and Mark Allen on their hancycle are still leading, and it looks like one of them will win the race, as Lewis Wallinson on his road bike is nowhere to be seen. The pedal car train has dropped one car. This is the final lap. Mark Allen has won the race. Ben Whitney takes the second place. Now is the time for the second fast race. John Lucian is nearly falling off his Pelso Brevet. He's nearly colliding with me before we have even started. The air temperature has dropped, and it feels quite cold. The plan is not to be dropped by Joren on his M5 low racer on the left. I am not convinced I have the legs to attempt anything. James Coxon on his Ice VTX is already far away ahead. I am overtaking Liam Goodman in his not-so-streamliner. He will probably have no trouble overtaking back. We are catching up with Matthew Lorez, who was a 2019 trike world champion. But now, in 2023, James Coxon is the fastest trike rider on his Ice VTX. Liam Goodman, in his not-so-streamliner, is overtaking back. I am losing contact with Joren, as I'm hauled back by Judith Swallow on her ice trice, with one lap behind. I don't have enough power to close the gap. I am really not going fast enough to stand a chance. Now it is more like a time trial, as I have lost sight of the guys ahead and behind, but I am still lapping Don Shackley in his Quattro Velomobile, as well as Tim McDonald in his Milan SL Velomobile. I am being lapped by Liam Goodman in the not-so-streamliner. He is leading the race. Somehow I am lapping Andrew Sidwell on his Burroughs Rat Racer, as well as Nigel Slee on his Fujin Low Racer. And what is going on? Johan on his M5 Low Racer is lapping me. He's currently in second place. I'm going to unlap myself even though it is useless now. And he is lapping me back. James Coxon on his Ice VTX is lapping me as well. He is currently third in the race. All that leaves me in a bad position for the championship. Both Johan Farver and James Coxon are ahead of me. There are still many races to come. I may have to resort to my secret weapon in some future races. Liam Goodman, his not so streamliner, has won the race. Johan Farver on his M5 Low Racer has taken the second place. James Coxon on his Ice VTX has taken the third place. And I am fourth.